This content is brought to you in association with my buddies over at Jam Jam Cards UK. You can find the links to the eBay store and the Facebook page in the description. Hi guys, it's Joe here from Rufioh. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard. You should definitely hit subscribe and the notification bell before you go any further and you realise how fucking garbage this content is. But of course, if this is not your first time on the channel, welcome back, you absolute fucking loser. So you're here for today's PK Fire deck profile. Well, we took it to a regional this weekend, the first one of the season, the first one back in the UK since lockdowns happened. We were excited to get back on the road. Now, our results weren't as good as we would have hoped, but overall I can talk about the things that I think went well, things that went badly, and things that I'm going to be changing going forward with this list. Now, it's worth noting now, of the 7 rounds that were played, only 2 of those were against the same deck, so it was a pretty tough and varied event, and as such, it was very, very difficult to prep for, and I think that that's going to be a running theme going forward. Now, some ideas of how I'm going to change things going forward, and I'll get into that discussion a little bit as we go on through the video. There will also be a new profile up relatively soon, because I've actually changed it since this. I've just rebuilt this to show you exactly what I played. Now, before we get stuck into the video, I do just want to note, if you're looking to pick up some Yugioh singles, ready for the new format, ready for Post versus Destiny, check out the channel sponsors, Jam Jam Cards UK. There is a link in the description. If you go ahead and use that, you'll get yourself a nice 15% off your order by using the code Rufioh15. But anyway, that's enough waffling on from me. Let's get stuck into the deck profile. Okay, so we're starting off with our Phantom Knight package. Of course, triple Torn Scales, absolute must play. I don't think I need to say anything about this, it's triple Torn Scales. Triple Silent Boots, it's your freest of the extenders, so you absolutely want it. Double Ancient Cloak, it's perfectly fine. You don't really want to open it, but you do need to be able to resolve multiple. A single copy of Ragged Gloves, just the one is absolutely fine. You can recycle it with Levier anyway. And a single copy of Stain Greaves, absolutely must play. I was using this so badly before, and now that I've started to get how to use it, and I'm using it properly, it's a fantastic card. Now that's the PK monsters, onto the PK traps. So we've got triple Fogblade and a single copy of Shade Brigandine. This was absolutely fine. I would probably up the numbers going forward. I'm probably going to be playing either the wing or the sword. Probably the wing, but the sword's an option as well. I think monster-wise, though, it's absolutely perfect. Yeah, definitely the right ratios, I think. Maybe just, again, add in another one to the mix. Now on to the traditional Tour Guide PK package. Triple Tour Guide. Increasingly, I find this card frustrating. It's absolutely insane, but a lot of the time when it's in my hand, I'm just not summoning it. Mostly because usually if you summon it and it gets hit, you don't usually have a follow-up. Now, if you have another extender, then it's pretty much a guarantee to go through. It's not quite as bad, but a lot of the time, where I play slightly less extenders maybe than other builds, that's not as much an option, so I'll normally go for a normal summon and spec something else, and then if that gets hit, I'm normally fine anyway. Onto the 2 BAs, Graph and Seer, absolutely plenty. You do not need more than this. Yeah, I don't really need to elaborate on this. I know a lot of people play like Libic and stuff like that. Honestly, you just don't need it. This is absolutely fine. Onto the Destiny Hero package. I played 1 Denier, 1 Dasher, 1 Celestial, and then triple of the spell card. Now, I will note whilst I'm here, this is absolutely not correct, really. I decided to play it because I thought it was a level 3 extender. It's a Dark Warrior. It's a free level 3 on board if I've already got Phoenix on board, so it means I've got another extender for the next turn. Like, on paper, it was a really good idea. It just didn't really come up. It really didn't. Like, there were some other concepts I had as well of, like, being able to dump this if I already opened this, or if I already opened this, I could just dump this instead, so I wouldn't lose resources out of the hand. And either of these are kind of, I guess, semi-playable, but it didn't work out in reality, and the reality was I was siding this out every single time. So I think if you've got the Malicious package, absolutely play this. But if you're playing Dasher, just play Celestial, and that's absolutely fine. But again, of course, the triple spell card to go with that. The Psychic package, Weed Dealer, Tracker, 2 Teleport, absolutely fine. Normally I'd side one of these out and occasionally another one of these if I needed to make room for some other more impactful cards, but pretty good overall. Then onto the hand trap lineup, we have triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Yeah, it was alright. It's Ash Blossom. It hits most decks in some capacity. A single copy of Ghost Ogre. This was actually probably the best hand trap the whole goddamn weekend. This was insane. Like, just nobody was prepped for it. It's the same as when you Gamma someone at the moment, because Gamma's not seeing an awful lot of play, at least not from my experience. So if you get hit with Gamma, it's really, really painful, especially on cards that you don't normally get hit with it on. Same sort of concept. I know it doesn't negate, but it does get rid of really important cards. And of course, it's also an E-Tele target, so it becomes an extender as well. And then triple copies of Infinite Impermanence. This was great for the most part. It's Infinite Impermanence. It's good going first or second. There is some clash though with Shea Brigandine, so going forward I am going to be cutting this card once or twice where I need to resolve it. I just couldn't get rid of it. Whereas the other Phantom Light trap cards don't matter because you can get rid of them, but this, once it's in your graveyard, it's pretty much stuck there and leaves you in a bit of trouble. Now on to our other extenders here. We've got double Kagamucha Light. 2 is absolutely fine. The third just gets a bit cloggy. We've got the Danger package here as well. Tsuchinoko and what's his face? Jackalope. Absolutely fine. They do what they do. And then our final card here, out of our monsters, not an extender, but it is our Artifact Scythe, and an absolute must-play in this deck. Absolutely bonkers card. Won me so many games where people just couldn't out it and you kill them the next turn, or they scoop when they realise what's going to happen. And then on to the final cards from the main deck. Triple Forbidden Droplet. Honestly, this card is just wild. Yeah, I really don't know what to say about this card. It just does everything. It breaks boards. It helps you play around stuff. It helps you play through stuff. It just does absolutely everything. And then on to our final 2 cards for the main deck. Call by the Grave, Reinforcement of the Army. We're running a billion fucking warriors. And Call by the Grave is it's just strong. It's just strong, and I think you just need to play it. So that rounds off our main deck again. Plenty of changes are going to be made. I'll discuss in a little bit more detail as I go through what those are going to be. We go on to our extra deck here. So we've got our Phantom Knight package here. Double Break Sword. 1 Rusty. Yeah, it's absolutely fine as it is. Occasionally, I think I can play with 1 less, but then, you know, every time it's less, or any time I've done testing with less, I miss this card. So, yeah, this seems perfect. You never need another Rusty. You get him back once, and that's all you really need to push through games. Cherubini for the combo. These 3, I put them in conjunction because they're basically the same thing, right? They're all for the same sort of thing. This card, this fucking card, oh my goodness, this was ridiculous. I think there was only maybe 1 game where I summoned this and didn't win. It was honestly just stupid. I was even outgrinding like Eldritch because of this card, which is just absolutely insane. Yeah, it's a wonderful card. You need to play it. Link Spider, Nightmare Unicorn, Apollo, and access code round up our links. This, I think, I only summoned maybe once, which normally we would summon it all the time. But yeah, just the ones to the weekend where we're using the extra materials for like Dagda and things like that. It wasn't bad. I think it's one of those cards that you should just have in here. But yeah, it was summoned a lot less. The rest are pretty much self-explanatory. They do what they do. And then on to our XC monsters, Leviair, Time Thief, Redoer, Downer Magician, and Double AA Zeus. This, I think, only came up once, but you know this is a win button when it does happen. Redo is a really nice rank 4 that you can make and just outgrind your opponent, help non-target and removal, that kind of thing. Leviair is just Leviair, helps you again extend, be able to get your Ragged Gloves back into your grave and play from there. And Down Magician, of course, turns into this. Field Center. And then on to the side deck. So single copy of Pancratops. Going second card, you just need to play it. Triple copies of Droll and Lockblood didn't come up a single time. I slided it in, it just never happened. Lancia came up once. The best thing that happened with this the whole weekend was me summoning this over Shea Brigandine, playing into Tri Brigade, and then the next turn I managed to Lancia him by tributing off and winning that way. Triple Dark Ruler no more. This is going to be going into the main going forward. Yeah, really, really strong. Helped me break boards. Really, really good. Double Twin Twisters, breaks boards. Harvey's Feather Duster, breaks boards. Imperial Order and Red Reboot, breaks boards and breaks players' morale to the point they don't want to play the game anymore. So in terms of the profile, that is more or less it. Now onto the matchups. So we played against Tri Brigade, which we won. Drytron, which we won. Sword Soul, which we won. Those were all, I wouldn't say any were particularly difficult. You know, the ones I won were pretty comfortable. I think most of them might have been 2-0s. I drew against Eldritch. That was actually against one of our local guys. He'd slapped me with Lava Golem going second as time was about to call. And as he was setting back row ready to pass turn, Judge called for time. So we ended on a draw. He probably should have won that though. In terms of my losses, I lost to Pure Lyrilisk. More specifically, I lost to Mystic Mine in that matchup. Against Drytron, I lost as well. That was a brick scenario. And then against Evil Twin, of all things, the player had literally everything. Every single choke point that this deck has, they had a response to. Genuinely, I don't think I've ever played a game where someone's had so many interrupts and still able to play. I think that's the thing with Evil Twin, is it only needs like 1 or 2 cards to get its engine going, and the rest can be interrupts and it's fine. And that's exactly what happened to me, and I just couldn't play through it. So we ended on 3 wins, 3 losses, and a draw, about as even a split as you can get over 7 rounds. So but yeah, it was one of those. I think some of the games I lost were more or less out of my control. Nothing too insane, I don't think. Maybe 1 or 2 things I could have done better, but I don't think necessarily anything that contributed to my losses. I think they are what they are. The wins are all fairly comfortable, like I say. We weren't anything too stretched, and the draw, I probably should have lost that game. Now, going forward, I'm going to be cutting pretty much all the hand traps from this. In fact, probably all of them. Hand traps just aren't that strong at the moment, and I'd rather play cards that break boards. And so far, this past locals, since this event, that's worked absolutely perfectly for me. I've had no issues with that whatsoever, so that's probably what I'm going to continue to do. So, again, expect a new list to come out in the next week or 2 with updates and changes that are being made, and some ideas of what I might change going forward. Again, these are going to be more and more regular because we're getting into competitive season. I've got more and more competitive events coming up. And so I want to share knowledge with you about things that I think worked really well, things that didn't work well, and just keep it up with my results. But anyway, that's enough waffling on from me, guys. Thank you very much for coming along. I do really appreciate you watching to this part of the video. Again, if you are looking to pick up some singles, check out the channel sponsors, Jam Cards UK. Link in the description. If you use my code Rufioh15, you'll get a 15% discount. Now, if you haven't already, you should most definitely hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.